I'm also standing on other legs, as they say in Wolof, wearing other hats. I think most of you do not know that I am visually impaired. I lost my sight about 22 years ago, after which I did not despair. I decided to go into rehabilitation. And in the past 20 years, the result is 5 books, one of which is an anthology of poems. The first 3 are a trilogy, and the 5th book is a standalone novel. But all my books I have created based on a new genre that I have created for myself, genre of literature, where I interface literature and history. And it has worked for me. Now, I've done this for several reasons, but I don't want to go into that now because it might take a lot of our time. But that being said, I am also speaking on behalf of the people who are differently able, who hardly get a voice, who are ignored, and maybe their needs trampled on. I have not had anybody mention them in the course of this discourse. Now, I want us to bear them in mind. These are the people who are physically and mentally challenged. They are a part of this discussion, and I think later on we might be able to take them on in the course of time, and so that we become more inclusive in the ways in which we deal with society as a whole. Now, having said this, I want to start by saying that pandemics, epidemic periods, influenzas, all these things have happened throughout our history, throughout human history. But the COVID-19 has impinged on our lives and livelihoods on a very unprecedented, massive, colossal scale, to the extent that its full impact is yet to be fully assessed. It might take another year, a few years down the line, we might be able to make an assessment of its impact. But thus far, its impact on the creative sector is very, very, very heavy. Now, I need not go into how it has affected the musicians and others in the trade, but as a writer, to begin with, somebody mentioned, I think it was Sabina mentioned, that it has had an economic impact. First of all, there isn't a reading culture in this country, so most of my books are bought by tourists who come here. Now, I presume it's the same thing that has happened to all the other writers. Now, the economic impact, that is severe. The impact that this has also had on us, as Hassan mentioned, is demoralization. Now, if you're unable to perform, if you're unable to create, if the environment in itself is limiting and disabling, it is impossible to create something or to allow your creative spirits to be unleashed. Now, this is what has happened. Writers, human beings like birds, need companionship, need to go around and interact with others. And in our society, where interaction is so important, where the physical distance between one person and another is so close, unlike some other cultures where physical interaction is based on a personal space. Whereas for us, we are almost very close to each other. And this is what has happened. So for us, one of the major things that we have to unlearn under the present circumstances is to be able to create a space, which I think is one of the problems we're having right now between us. But in addition to that, I think it's going to affect my other readership, that is the students at the university. Now, my books are generally, and I'm getting calls from them to say, Mr. Silla, how can you purchase this book? I say, well, Timbuktu, but then Timbuktu was closed. Now, in addition to that, the physically challenged students at the university and all the students who are at the university and the Gambia College now are going through their lectures through the internet. Now, a lot of these students, most of them, the visually impaired students, don't have laptops, don't have data cards, don't have access to their lectures. So I am running around on a frantic search to find them laptops and data cards. Now, as I said earlier on, we tend to forget them. Now, the other thing we need to think about is the impact that this will have on the Gambian diaspora and the impact on our foreign exchange reserves. How many people send remittances over to this country? How many people are redundant as a result of this pandemic? So it is really, really, really a challenging experience for all of us. And the saddest part of it is it's very uncertain as to when this is going to go. But the optimist in me tells me maybe a few months down the line, a year down the line, we'll find solutions. So hopefully we might be able to find solutions to this problem and be able to move on and work together. And importantly, we tend to put profit before life. We tend to put profit before health. And life will never, ever be the same again after this pandemic. So we must all bear that in mind.
That's very good.
How we can come up with solutions as a race, as a human race. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babasila. You represent a very important group in our society and within the culture and creative industry. That's why it was very important for us to make sure you participate in this debate. And we haven't made a mistake because you represent many different groups in the right way, both the physically challenged and also in your own right as a academic person and also as a novelist. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But we'll continue the debate. We'll move on to the other panelists, and I'm sure I will pose you another very interesting question, and I'm sure you will give me a good answer. I want to welcome to this forum, Rohi Kamara. So we are happy that you can join us. Yourself is on creative sector as a whole, and also how this has impacted your work. Thank you. As a professional, I know you are an award-winning actress and producer. Rohi, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Rohi Kamara. I'm an actress. And I'm so sorry for these technical difficulties as well on my side. COVID-19 has disturbed me a lot, and it affected my daily routine, especially as an actress. The only way we earn money is by doing movies, being on set, and being on premieres. But as we all know, like we can't be on a public gathering. We can't be on set because if you have to be on set, you need like more than 15 or 20 people on set. And as we all know, like that is impossible right now. So it affected me in a way that like, especially as yours, it affected me in a way that I can't actually earn a living, because the only way I earn a living is by doing movies. And as a young woman who's trying so hard to hustle in life, now I'm stuck in the house without doing anything. And it come to an extent that I think I started developing an anxiety and depression, because my whole routine has changed. So I'm not only talking about me, myself, alone in the industry, because we have actors that depend on this same field alone as well. There are some of us that have other things apart from acting, but 80% of us only depend on the movie industry or in the music industry. So it actually affects us a lot, especially if we are stuck in the house and we cannot do anything. We can't find a way to make end meal, because at the end of the day, you cannot move, you cannot interact with people, you can't find a solution anywhere. So it really affects us on that side.
Thank you very much, Rohit. We appreciate your insight. One thing which you have mentioned is about health issue. Apart from COVID-19 being a health issue in itself, you also mentioned about some of the impact. And one of the key health impact is depression culture, or affecting your mental health, and also others within the sector. I think that is very important. We really need to look at those things. That's why it's important having such a platform which UNESCO have created, so that we can discuss and see how we can unite all of us against COVID-19, and how we can help each other, and how we can find solution to the problem. It will never be business as usual again. So we really need to think hard, internalize the present situation, and see how we can come up again, so that we will be more resilient. And this thing like this will never be a surprise to any one of us again. Thank you very much, Rohit. We'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Now I want to move to Miss. Thank you. Now I would want to talk to ask Mr. Babukar Sham, a veteran, long cultural promoter, a broadcaster, and who is very committed to this kind of agendas. We are happy he could be with us today. He will introduce himself, and we will also ask him, what does he think about the impact, the aspect that are connected to this industry? Mr. Chan, please.
Thank you very much, my sister, Mrs. Bakurin. Just allow me to express my honor to be part of this very important panel. Regarding myself, I am Babukar Cham, as you said. I'm a broadcaster, absolutely. I'm a cultural promoter, in that basically we are very deep rooted in trying to develop our culture in all aspects. I'm also an executive member of the Broadcasters Association of the Gambia. I will stop there and then try to answer to the questions that has been raised. Definitely, Mr. Chairperson, it is quite clear that this COVID-19 pandemic has really impacted negatively on our culture and all basically creative industries. It's a disease with a mode of transmission that is very serious, and preventive measures inherent to it have made a lot of things quite problematic nowadays. You just look at how whatever used to entertain us has been put to a standstill. This is unprecedented in terms of how not alone revenues has been lost, but revenue opportunities even have been lost because of this pandemic that is characterized by closure of basically all cultural, creative, and artistic medium, like museum, like galleries, national and world heritage sites, you name them, craft markets, libraries, all of those tools that used to be here for people to uplift part of their humanism has been put at a standstill. I'm a broadcaster, as you rightly said, and a radio broadcaster for that matter. Radio being belonging to the creative industry sector, I think we'll speak from the perspective and share with the forum how we have noticed with anxiety how the COVID-19 pandemic has jeopardized our efforts to perform according to professional standards. It's an impact here that is almost, I will say, existential. Just an example, our reporters. Our reporters are living with a fear due to huge health risks they might be facing when covering events. It's not something very small if you look at how we are interacting in this country, and that is a fact. They also know, and it's not a secret for anybody to know that whoever is infected creates something like a situation of quarantine, whereby all those in the situation, for example, of a staff in the station here, he knows, or everybody knows, that when somebody is infected, everybody else will be in quarantine. The immediate consequence might be the off of the station, unless we proceed by shifts as we are doing right now, at least to make sure that there is continuity in the broadcasting. Something very important too is that it is a situation that will explain in no small measure how the staff is losing psychological balance. It's a traumatic situation. They are losing a psychological balance, which will jeopardize their performances, but also which will put something like, I don't know how to call it again. It will anyway damage. That's why I want to say damage our image, our relationship with the audience, because the program from that moment are no longer very regular. Just an example, we have here promoting culture. When for the first time, I've been invited to attend the laying of the foundation stone, the home for the elderly. I say, why are we having the home for the elderly in this Gambia? Here, where we know that where we know that the elderly are the custodian of our culture exactly, where we know that the family is so extended that even the foreigners are part of it. So how can it happen for us to lose sight in the impact of our elderly in such a way we put them in one kind of, in other countries, yes, in other continents, but here in Africa, in the Gambia, it was a big question mark. I created a program called Keparo Magni. It means under the shade of the elderly, just to put attention on those elders. But now it was a program that has almost 15 years of existence. But today we cannot go anymore for the program because you have to go to houses to meet those elderly surrounded by their families. And since there is this social distancing, a lot of things cannot be done anymore. You see that together with that, where you have irregularity in program broadcasting, where you have problem to meet your guests, either you go to them or you invite them at the studio. The moment you have those kinds of problems, then you start having economic problems because you have no advertisers. Most of advertisers, what they do is either they postpone the program or they simply cancel them. And where you have no musical program, no cultural program, no sports program, radio are living, especially in our country, they are exclusively living for the products of advertisement and things of that like. This is a big issue. And to some extent, it might even put a threat on the survival of these institutions. It's a problem, and since it is a problem, it needs solution. Maybe something that can be said is that
we will
the moment
discuss
you have
about the solution later. Thank you.
But okay. I was just
Thank
trying
you
to put
very
something like a
much
small
for
kind of, but then okay, then we talk about it later, inshallah. Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I know you have a lot to share with us, so I want you to save it just very much because the solutions are very important. We'll come back to later on.
Just something I can add. Just something I can add. Is almost a 78%, just to portray what I was saying, just to portray what I was saying, just a 78% of loss in terms of advertisement revenue. It gives you a chance to know what the situation is like. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jam, cultural promoter and a long-time broadcaster. Like this, Mark Bahna Sikir. Thank you very much. I want to move on also to talk to Mr. Lamin Jaju, Gambia National Commission for UNESCO in the Gambia, Senior Program Officer, and our Cultural Desk Officer here.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
So that you will introduce yourself and also tell us what you think the impact of COVID-19 have on our cultural and creative industry.
Thank you, Mrs. Bakurin. Good afternoon to Baba Silla, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Mr. Cham, and good afternoon to DG and all the panelists, Miss Roy Kamara, and all the others. Good afternoon to Dakar UNESCO office in Dakar. My name is Lamin Jaju. I am Senior Program Officer, and I am responsible for the culture desk. I think this discussion could not have come at a better time. The question that you pose, I think is really pertinent. Well, we can say that COVID-19 is not killing the culture sector only, but all other sectors are endangered by this outbreak. As far as the culture and creative industry is concerned, we should not just reduce it to the economic aspect only. I'm happy when Hausum said the morale of artists is very low, is at a very low ebb. I want to join him in saying that because I believe that the psychosocial aspect is really important. It may not be scientific, but I think the life of the artist can be linked to his or her work, you know, and since the COVID has put a standstill to all the activities of artists, it really has endangered their work. And the dimension it has on their happiness is also important because artists perform for people. They keep people entertained, and they give people food for thought. Jaleba, the tune that he just introduced to us, is really important. He's talking about unity and oneness in the Gambia and discouraging tribal sentiments and ethnicity. This is what we expect from artists. If you read the books of Baba Silla, When the Monkey Talks and Dabalaji, you go back in history and you see how Gambians have been living and how they have been struggling with their lives. It is food for thought for all of us. I mean, so if something has curtailed those activities, you can see it is devastating. Currently, we are seeing that people are not holding any fashion designers are not holding any exhibitions. Writers are not launching books or holding book fairs. I mean, no poetry slams, talk about wrestling. They are no longer taking place because these are crowd activities. I mean, so it's really impacting negatively on the lives of the artists. And we really need to find solutions for them. But like I said formally, we cannot just look at it from the formal dimension alone, in the sense that we have our gentes, naming ceremonies, cultural activities, the Jalis and other artists like that. These are activities where they play a very important role. So if these things are not happening, their source of income is curtailed. And also people don't really benefit from their skills and their, artistness, let me say it that way. So the COVID pandemic is really tormenting to all facets of life. And it is really important that we look at solutions that can help us deal with this. I think this is what I have to say for the moment.
Thank you very much, Lamin Jaju. I think your intervention is well noted, and just like you have buttressed what the previous panelists have mentioned, mental state of mind is very important for anybody. And this is something really we have to think and see to help each other going through this trying time in the Gambia and the world as a whole. The COVID-19, we don't know when it will end. And we have to continue to live our life. So it can never be business as usual again. But I'm sure united, we will win. Divided, we will fall. But united, we are. So I'm sure we will make it. That leads me to go to our creative colleague and youth, Serti Janseka. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone.
I would want you to tell us in your own words, the industry, the cultural and creative, and also you as an artist, how does it affect your work? I think this is very important.
Right. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. My name is Shetijan Seka.
Thank you. On stage. Thank you. Shetijan.
I hope all of you are hearing me loud and clear today. Okay. For me, personally, it's quite challenging for me because I do productions most of the time, and I'm outside most of the time, either scouting for location or having orientation with actors or team members, and also doing productions most of the time. But when the pandemic started, I had some few edits that I needed to complete. Now, I think it took me a week to finish those edits. And after that was done, there wasn't much to do inside, because I like being outside. It's where I get my inspiration from. It was beginning to feel very, very weird and challenging being inside for like 2 weeks as a producer and as a creative director who's used to being outside most of the time. But this is not the only challenge this is not the only challenge that that I am facing, because I own a production company, and then we do a lot of production ranging from corporate to artist. And I want to talk about the socio-economic impact that this has on us. So this has affected the entire craft and skill value chain. And as a creative director and a production company proprietor, we work with a lot of people, and this ranges from people of different skill set, like actors, actresses, models, dancers, makeup artists, costume designers, and set designers as well. And most of these people I mentioned get paid by getting hired for productions. So if we are affected, they will certainly be affected as well. Like Rohi mentioned, we are the ones that hire them. And then if we are not working, they will not get jobs, which means that they will not be paid. So this has affected us in that way. And I also work with a lot of artists also who also hire us to produce music videos for them. And when I was talking to most of them, I realized that most of them has lost a lot of money on investment that they have made on concerts that they were supposed to stage. And this has and this loss would be really hard for them to recover, but these were investment made on promotions, and this involves airtime, radio airtime, billboards, TVs, and the list goes on, and even social media investment. And also there are a few also that that we're supposed to have concerts or attend festivals in Europe and other parts of the world, and which I would also count as a loss, because now that there's a lockdown, most of them were not able to attend. And this has also affected them, and it's a loss of revenue for them. And then I think this year most of the festivals are canceled, and who knows what next year might bring for them. So basically for us, to put it shortly, this is how it has affected us.
Thank you very much, Chair Tijan SDS. I think it's good to hear from the horse's mouth, and I think we are all in this thing. We are all affected, mainly negatively, but always there's a saying that in any situation, there are opportunities, and we should try to look at those opportunities so that we can come up again by UNESCO, so that we can talk together and see how we can share. And I would thank you very much for that insight for now, and we will really look at the different solutions. I want to move over now to ask Mr. Babasila. In this COVID-19 situation we find ourselves in, either semi-confined in one place, how are you adapting your actual place?
Alarm, you are unmuted by host. Alarm, audio now unmuted.
Hello, Madam
Yes,
Moderator, can you repeat your first part of your question?
Okay, what I'm saying now, how are you living your daily life in this semi-confinement situation? And how are you adapting your activities to the situation we find ourselves, this COVID-19 situation? Thank you, sir.
Okay, you know what? I'm actually sitting down, twiddling my thumbs. And like a bird without a song, I'm sitting sitting down, not doing much, because normally what I do, I spend something like 6-7 months of the year in the country researching, and then the rest of the year I spend doing my creative work and then analyzing the data. Now I had lined up a few cultural specialists, especially women who are vast into traditions like marriage and all the other aspects of this social cycle, birth, marriage, death. But unfortunately, I have not been able to follow this through with them for fear of violating the um, social space. But as you say, there's always an opportunity in adversity. I am actually doing quite a bit of reading on my own, things I have put away for the past 7-8 years. And I said, I'll get back to them and read them. This is what I'm doing right now. It also gives me an opportunity to enjoy myself, sit in my garden and do a lot of gardening. You will not believe this, I do quite a bit of gardening. Now, I also have around me a few people who I consult with in several capacities. But most of it deals with the young who I mentor. I had actually planned to bring in the youth who are doing slam poetry at the cafe, Attire Cafe. Those would have been interesting people to have around. But unfortunately, I have not been able to do that with them. But having said that, it has also given me time to rest as well, but also to think through other possibilities. The fact that the government has taken this initiative in conjunction with the United Nations, UNESCO, I think is a very positive step in the right direction. We needed to have a conversation, and none of us knew when that conversation was going to come. And now we have the opportunity to do that. However, as is already said, life will never be the same again. And it will not be business as usual. We must begin a soul searching of how we're going to come out of this post-COVID-19. But my time, as I said, is well spent, and I'm enjoying myself. And I'm also thinking about transitioning my work into other genres, film, for example, drama, TV series. These are the things that are preoccupying me at the moment. And I have had contact with a few people. So the panelists and everybody here, don't be surprised if I give you a call and say, can we talk? So thus far, this is what I'm spending my time doing. Of course, I'm also enjoying myself because my son came to visit me and now he's stuck here, he can't leave. So we've not had the time to touch base for such a long time because everybody's busy running on their own lane and not looking on their own side. So this is what I think thus far I can say what I'm doing with my time.
Thank you very much, Bawasila. That's the thing. We all have to be creative. It's an opportunity to do other things like we didn't have time to do. At least one thing is for sure, some of us catch up with things we haven't done, which we have to do when we are semi-confined in a place. Thank you very much. And this is very inspiring. Look forward to continue discussion on this kind of things. But like I said, we have to unite against COVID-19 and also as you have rightly said. Soul searching, everybody have to do that. This is not only Gambia, but global. And particular for us within the sector, we have to do that. Now I want to go back to Rohe. Rohe.
Yeah, hi. Hello.
Hi, good,
Hello.
Mr. Babasila. Adapting to your activities to this new situation. And also, you are semi-confined where you are, or totally confined, depending on how you want to move around, not to violate the restrictions. So how are you coping as a filmmaker and an actress, please? Rohi, you are hearing me? Okay. Rohi, you are with us?
Not really, sorry. Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
now.
So
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You had the question? Let me repeat. How are you coping with this daily in the semi-confinement situation? And how are you adapting your activities to this situation, COVID-19 situation? Thank you. Rohit, I think the audio is giving us problem. We'll come back to you, okay? We'll come back to you.
Say it again, please.
Okay, we'll come back to Rohe. We'll come back to you because your audio is not very good. Thank you. Safety Janseka.
Yes.
Yes, what is your take on how are you coping? You've mentioned a bit about it earlier on, and how are you trying? I know you said you do some editing and already you finished it, but like I said, there's always opportunities in this kind of situation. So how are you adapting your activities to the situation? Thank you.
Yes, actually, right when I finished my editing, I was fortunate to have a contract with the ITC to do a virtual training on photography. Where currently I am training about 18 female entrepreneurs on product photography using their phones. So this has kept me busy for the past 3 weeks. So I was busy making video tutorials and sharing it with them via WhatsApp, and also following up with them, guiding them on how to take nice pictures, nice product pictures with their phone. So this has kept me engaged. And also I'm using the time to watch a lot of movies, which I miss doing, because before I could barely watch a whole 1 hour, 30 minutes film. But now I am catching up with all the new movies that I've missed. And also once I'm done with the training, if the lockdown is still on, I'll try to enroll in an online class to learn more about cinematic lighting. So I'm trying to use the time to my advantage as well.
That's good to hear. Like I said, we can always do something within our confinement status. And it's good to know you're training women. That is very welcome. And I'm sure you should try also and train other youths though. Keep it up. You should train people like me. I'm not good at those things. I'll get
Thank
in
you.
touch. Thank you.
Actually I started training the youths like when I started my studio in 2016. So every year what I do is I train about 10 youths for free. So I've done it in 2016, 2017, and 2018. So I train about 10 youth every year for 6 to 9 months. And yeah, that is on photography, on cinematography or editing. So I've been training youths as well. Yeah.
That's very good. That is very good. Virtual, now we all have to be high tech. So keep it up. Keep up the good job. So I will move. I will check once again on Rohi. If not, then I'll move on to another panelist. Rohi, are you with us now?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
As I was saying, at the beginning, it was like fun for me and my family. You know, I love cooking, so I started going on YouTube, you know, to like but after a few weeks become boring for me because I'm used to going out, I'm used to doing things differently. And after a few weeks I started developing depression, anxiety, and because what I was feeling was very scary. I was feeling like I was losing my mind, but I kept it to myself. But it kept on going and going and going to an extent that I have to call my best friend. And I was like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling nervous most of the time. I cannot think straight. Like, I don't know, I'm shaking. And am I losing my mind? And then she was like, no, you're going through depression and anxiety. And I do some like research and everything, and I read about it, and everything that they said, it was exactly what I was going through. It was like I was having a panic attack. And I was like, I need to get out of the house because I could not do this. It was really scary. And what I every day, you know, and I don't want to cry because I'm really getting emotional because it was a very scary feeling because I thought I was actually losing my mind for a second. And I'm just stuck. I just feel like I'm stuck, and I could not move. I could not do anything. Like, it is actually emotionally draining me right now. And the only thing that I want is for us to get out of this situation so that our life can go back to normal, and we can start doing things we love doing. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Rohi. I'm sure we will find solution to all these issues. And one good thing which you should be doing, exercising in the house. I think that will help also in terms of state of mind. That's what I started. I have to get up, and I think this platform created by UNESCO, working with government for us to discuss, I think helpful, and you can create such a forum with you and your network. But we'll come to this solution. I'm sure you will have good ideas which we can look at, Rohi. Keep it up. Thank you very much for now. Mr. Cham, I want to hear me because I want to is the government do to our industry, the culture and the creative industry? Director
Can you come in again?
Mr. Please. Hello?
Can you come again? Yeah.
Mr. Cham, okay, let me go back to you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I'm asking you also the same question which I've asked the Rohi and STS. How are you adapting your activities to the current situation? I know you mentioned some things already. And also, how do you go about with this semi-confinement situation, your daily activities? Okay. Yeah. Do you continue to do your cultural promotional thing and things like that in a virtual way, or how do you go about it and how do you adapt to this COVID-19 situation? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Something that is positive that can be mentioned here is that at the level of the Broadcasters Association of the Gambia, we have been active to, try to foster positive health attitudes and adherence to these preventive measures. But together with that, we are in a situation of confinement exactly. We have been trying to strengthen cultural family bonds against domestic conflict and violence. Together with that, normally I'm very social oriented. We do, though there is confinement, but at times, we can see it from these two perspectives. At times, it can be good. A lot of people are very happy for this confinement happening because at least you see the father getting reunited. We are doing a lot in trying to exactly foster those kind of cultural bonds to make sure that the family becomes what it used to be. We know that before the pandemic, a lot of families was disintegrated. So we are doing a lot in that sense. At times, from remote areas, at times, physical contacts, we will ensure that all the protocols are being respected in terms of mask, washing and things of the like. Where there is a need to go to compounds to sort out those kind of issues, we do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cham. That is important. Bringing the family together, that is the culture we know in the Gambia, and we really need to strengthen it. This is an opportunity for us to get to know each other again, mother and daughter, father and son, grandparents and grandchildren, uncles, nephews. Thank you, that is very important.
Husband and wife.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Director General Cisse, I would want you to tell us some of the strategies you think government could have in place to improve the plight of the culture and creative industry, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I think we can answer that question with suggestions. Basically, I think three things are needed immediately. One is like relief to the artists and the cultural players. Relief, immediate relief. I mean, yeah, just as there is food relief, so that there will be a fund, to relieve the artists, of their, of the current, economic burden. You see, so I think that is important. I mean, so that some of their losses, can be covered by this relief, package. That's very important. Now, another, like a second angle is to look at, the very short term, to really have, like we said yesterday, like a fund, like we have even decided to give it a name, the National Fund for Arts and Culture, to take care of the cost of, cultural and artistic, programming. See, that's very, very important, because really, we have to face it. Lack of funding is a major obstacle, in the sector. So, our second suggestion would be the, creation, by government, of course, with the support of local and international partners, to create a national arts and culture fund to, provide, players in the sector with the financial means to, execute, artistic and, cultural projects. And finally, the issue of capacity, building. I have to use the cliche, capacity building, to, work, with all the artists, the cultural players on, sort of, to evolve a comprehensive, training, agenda for everybody in the sector, including photographers, fine artists, stage, performers, technicians, studio operations, producers, and so on. You see. So, Madam Moderator, I think those are three fundamental interventions which we in the NCAC are putting forward, to the authorities, as a, pragmatic response to the impact of the pandemic to the arts and culture sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director General. I think it is important, and if you recall yesterday during our discussion, the capacity building aspect was raised. And like it was raised by Mr. Okodrame, Mr. Jaliba Kayate also raised the issue of setting up a cultural school. I think these are all important in terms of the capacity building plan. I think government can really help to move forward this thing, working with all the partners. And these are some of the forward to National Center for Arts and Culture being on the driving seat on behalf of government to move forward these strategies, because this is very important. Because like we said, it cannot only be business as usual again. Mr. Jaju, as a stakeholder, what do you think are the strategies we should have in place, working with government, to improve the plight of the cultural and creative industries?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think for us at the National Commission for UNESCO, we would like to implore and ask the National Center for Arts and Culture to put in some structures. We could look at them together and try to see where we can tap funding from as far as UNESCO's operations are concerned. But again, just to say that every problem or every challenge creates also opportunities, in the sense that some artists, they rely totally on live performances, trying to go to the stadium or to some venue to perform. But I think also they should take, seize the opportunity, to do some online streaming of their programs. I mean, for musicians, I think they will normally benefit if their audios are played on certain platforms. Again, for artists or who are actors and actresses, you know, if they have their skits or their films viewed on certain platforms, they are paid for it, you know, like YouTube will do, or even Facebook. So I think this is a kind of a situation that can kind of evolve, make their trade, you know, evolve from being, how do I call it? Should I say local or local audience targeted, you know, to people who are online, you know, they can target, make use of the technology, you know, to make sure that they benefit well from it. So we will work with the National Center for Arts and Culture to create opportunities for artists. That's what I think we can do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jaju, for those insights. I think it's very useful.
You're welcome.
I want to move on to Mr. Babasila. What would you really think it will help you and the industry as a professional in the industry also, in the nation, when it comes to post-COVID-19? Sir, are you hearing me? Mr. Sila? Hmm?
Hear me?
Alarm. You are unmuted
Yes,
by
I want
host.
Mr.
Alarm. Audio
Can you
now
hear me?
unmuted.
Madam Bakirin, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay, good, thank you.
yes,
Now,
please.
first of all, God has endowed
ResiliArt Conference Gambia.
us with giving us two endowments. One of them is a mouth, and the other is 2 ears. I think, first of all, government and all the institutions must spend more time listening than speaking. That's the first thing. Secondly, we must maintain the momentum as it is by keeping an open door policy, so that whenever and however, whenever it's necessary, we can engage in dialogue, a dialogue that will yield fruits. We are also in a situation where we need to look at other ways of doing things, other than the proverbial ways of addressing our problems. Sometimes it is necessary to dig deeper than we do. I think, for example, in the literary field, which I now reside in, I'm transitioning our work into other media that the general population can access. Is a very, very important thing. I mean, I look at the TV serials here. Lack of homegrown products has resulted in the Gambians focusing on this TV series from Senegal. 70% of the dialogues are in French and in Senegalo-Franco culture. Now, if we are not able to take back our stories to the people that they belong to, so that they can claim ownership to them, then we have failed. So I would recommend that there are, among other things, we should consider increasing our literary abilities. We should consider presenting material so that the children can engage with it and can read, and we can also improve the literacy rates of the adult population. If our population is illiterate and are ignorant, these two are twin harbingers of disaster for a future. So I personally would suggest that we try to relate everything we do in enhancing the literary skills and abilities of our people so that they can become more productive. Literate workers are productive workers. And if workers are unable to read science, are unable to read instructions on how to put things together, shop fitting, for example, then is there any chance? So as I said, I think we should consider all these things, put them in the package, and see how we can continue to build capacities within our ranks and within the wider population so that we can build a future together. I believe that by doing this, we're sending the right signals so that we can be able to build capacities within our ranks. We can also begin to, if it's a matter of giving aid to people, we give them aid that will enable them and not aid that will disable them. I have seen a lot of nice programs, not programs, but presentations about how we're going to improve the culture sector in this country. Some of them are very nice on paper to look at. It is okay that they show their teeth there, but the important thing is, where is the muscle? Where is the wherewithal to back these things? Again, this will go back to setting our priorities. What are our own priorities? And this is the right opportunity to begin to address these issues in a comprehensive and in a coordinated manner, not piecemeal, and not people doing things in isolation. It is also time for us in the tourist industry to see how we can extend the work of tourism into the hinterlands, away from sun, sand, sea, and sex. There's more to tourism than that. I am astounded that the most important physical feature we have in this country is our river. Going back to antiquity, this is where our civilizations have arisen. This is how the states of the Senegambian states have arisen. Jaliba, I heard, talk about how our forefathers had gone back to seek for prayers for the different empires, Salum, Sandu, Kantora, Tumana, Fonyi, and so on. Are we looking at ways in which we can make this river more navigable? I have gone back in history to write about these things in my novel, and I think I was fortunate that I went to a boarding school in Georgetown, and we used a riverboat, and we traveled from Banjul to Georgetown. It was a 2.5-day trip, very challenging, very interesting, very educative, and it allowed us to become humans in that we're able to interact with nature. Why can't we begin to look at that kind of tourism? Why can't we begin to have wharves, revive these wharves, mansa tenders, so that people can revive the industries that existed before? We have just killed it through the use of road transport. And road transport presents problems: congestion, pollution, costs to our economy in terms of buying spares from overseas. Let us, as I said, look at ways in which we can also connect agriculture with tourism. The Central River alone can be the breadbasket of this country. We ignore it. We should be able to produce all our rice needs. How much rice do we import in this country? How much cooking oil do we import in this country? How much tomato paste do we import in this country? Can anybody tell me that we cannot produce all this in this country, these things in this country? Can anybody tell me why we cannot deploy our military to go and build bridges, build schools, be a part of the medical corps that are assisting rural people in their daily grind of poverty and malnutrition, desolation? We must begin to address these issues. And I think all of it cannot be viewed in isolation to each other. They're all connected, they're all interrelated. I think that's why let me stop there. Thanks.
Speak, say,
can you hear me, Madam Bakirin?
Because the microphone is open.
Yes, sir. Yes. I hear you.
Yes.
Okay, did you hear what I said?
I've heard everything
okay,
what you
so
said.
It was a bit of a mouthful, so I thought you may not have heard me.
Oh, no, I heard you. I said, like you have mentioned, priority setting is very
yes.
important. You've talked about River Gambia, which is very things management. Also, the issue of artists that are up country within this sector might not have the opportunity to join us in this kind of forum. I was saying, you mentioned Makati, gently, when they come tourists to visit that island, and now God knows how he is surviving because that's part of his livelihood. And we didn't have opportunity to contact him. I'm sure they will contact and see how they are doing within the sector. Thank you, sir.
Madam Moderator, it looks like we have a new person joining us.
Now I would want to move on
that.
to ask. I would want what could be stakeholders' expectation. Yes, please. Thank you very much. STS, I want to ask you, what could be stakeholders' expectation and their economic solution after post-COVID-19? What's your take on that? What really will help you and the industry in this situation and after? Tijan. Tijan is not with me. Let me move on and pose this question to Rohi. Are you with us?
Hello.
Hello, Tijan. Please go on.
Yes, I said this situation has taught me something. Like Lamin mentioned, like Lamin Jaju mentioned, that we rely heavily on being paid for production and other things. But then there are certain avenues, there are certain platforms that we could make money as creatives, especially on online platforms. Now, for instance, for YouTube, for YouTube as an example, they used to pay you for views. And most of the content providers in this country have not monetized their channel. And this is due to the fact that because most of us opened our YouTube channel from this country, and it is because of the region where we created our account, we are not eligible to be paid for views. And I think this is an area where the government could intervene to find a way to find a way for content creators or YouTube account holders to be able to gain revenue from their content, because it's really hard to be paid if you open from here. And and also during this period, you realize a lot of people spend a lot of time online, which means if suppose I was getting paid for my content online and most of the other artists in this country, then there would be a gain in revenue, and this would help a lot of us. And also the cost of data also, I don't know if this is a platform where we could discuss that, but then the government should really look into that, because internet is the future. I mean, it's not even the future, it's now. We are into the internet era now. Everybody needs it. It's a basic necessity now. Now, if it's made if it's made to be affordable, a lot of people can access it, and then a lot of content creators also will be able to get paid from their content. And I think this would help a lot. These are things that I think the government should really look into to help the creatives.
Thank you very much, Chef Tijan Seka, STS. We've just been joined on this platform by Jizu, who's one of the young artists, performing rappers in the country. Jizu, we welcome you to this platform, which we are debating regarding the cultural and creative industry united against COVID-19. We thank you that you could join us, and we want to hear from you. How are you really living this COVID-19 in terms of how are you adapting your activities to the current situation? And what's your take in terms of what expectation you have? Yusuf, you are welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I'm saying greetings to everybody, on board right now. It's really nice being here. I just got here right now. I'm a little bit late. I overslept, but yeah, I just heard a little bit of what STS is saying. So, me personally, it's a little bit different, and I can say the COVID-19 has.
Please, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I am Jizzle. My real name is Jere Jallo, an artist from Gambia, West Africa. So what I was saying is the COVID-19 has ruined a lot for some of us here, especially with our shows and other activities. Because me, I was on tour before the thing broke out. I was doing my nationwide tour, and I've did most of the venues that were supposed to be taking place, and the ones that were coming are the major ones like Brikama, Manjai, and few more other venues. And these venues, I was looking up to them because I didn't want to do the tour and not go to these places, because I get so much love from them, and whenever we do shows there, it's sold out, So the COVID-19 really ruined that. And then the European tour too, we were supposed to go on a European tour, So right now we're facing that. We're trying to see how we can, we fix everything. Me and my team had a meeting about that a few days ago to see how we can have a plan B, in case we are not able to execute the plans for this year, because already we're losing a lot of money. We invested a lot of money on all these venues because we're doing the tour without sponsors. We have no much sponsors on the tour, like financially, I mean. So me and my team, we basically doing everything on our own, like paying all these venues. We have like more than 30 shows, so basically there's so much money lost. The money, the payments we did for the venues and sound systems are not refunded right now. So everything is just messy right now,
Thank you very much for sharing your story with us and how it's affecting the industry. But we'll come back to you, Joseph. We are happy you could join us. We know, I'm sure you've been busy with other things within the semi-confinement situation you find yourself, like all of us.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you with another question. Yeah, thank you. Welcome again.
Thank you so much.
Rohe. Yeah. Rohe, what would really help you or the industry in this kind of situation? What's your take on that?
I think what can actually help us, people that are on the industry, because before the COVID-19, but we have to cancel all that just because of this. And I think if the TV stations and if we can have sponsors, we can actually like launch our movies on TV, and people can actually watch them from people can actually watch them from their homes, and at the same time we can actually get little bit of cash to survive with. So I think if the TV stations can actually help, and we can launch our movies, and at the same time if sponsors can help, it will actually make a big changes, because we cannot just sit at home not doing anything and having lots of things that we can actually work on with. So as I was saying the last time, right now I'm trying to write like different kind of stories, and trying to see how best we can actually do something about us not being out there, but at the same time trying to make others feel comfortable as well. So if we can have the TV stations to help, and companies as well to help, I think we can actually launch our movies live on TV.
Thank you very much. Just a quick question. Did you make an effort to contact any potential sponsor or TV station and discuss maybe with them to see how you can move forward? Because really it will be useful to see what you people are doing on our screen nationally.
Yeah, as for that, we were discussing about that not long ago, me and my partners. But the only problem, yeah, I think I have to talk about this, is we will be the one that will actually spend our own cash, do our movies, pay our actors and everything. And at the same time, find a sponsor by ourselves. But if you go to the TV station, instead of them being fair to you, like giving you what you actually deserve, they will actually try to have most of the cash and left you with anything. So at the end of the day, it's a lose for you, because example, if you spend like 100,000 on a movie, and then you have a sponsor, and out of it, maybe they would like to take 75% and leave you with 25%. So it's a lose for you. And with that, we always say no. So if we can actually work towards that too, that can really help, because the industry in Gambia is not easy. So if someone is actually trying so hard to do something, I think if they cannot lift you up, they should not like bring you down. So that is the only issue we are going through right now, because you cannot spend thousands on a movie, and all of a sudden someone that did not do anything will just wanna like take most of what you spend. So that's the main reason we are on hold about that right
now. Okay, that's noted. I'm sure as a industry, we all will work together and continue the dialogue and see, like Mr. Babasila has said, how we can come with sustainable solution to most of these challenges we are facing regarding COVID-19 and post-COVID-19. That's lead me to the next question for Mr. Babkar Cham. I mean, what kind of what could be the stakeholders' expectation and their economic solution could be after the post-COVID-19? What's your opinion on that? Stakeholders' expectation and economic solution post-COVID-19. Mr. Chan, please.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chairperson. First of all, I want to believe that we need to encourage whatever has been said by Mr. Babasila. I think those things are wonderful in terms of trying to have something sustainable. We need to look at the way we consider culture in itself. From my side, I want to believe that there is a need, because there is no way possible where there is any sector, any development sector for that matter, without a cultural component. I think we need to try at the highest possible level to try to introduce culture and give it its real value in all development sector. There is a need to have a desk, a cultural desk, as a Minister of Education, if it doesn't exist. There is a need to have it at the Ministry of, we need it everywhere. We need to look at culture as a broad component of development in general. For that matter, I want to believe that if, for example, government embark on a massive, very ambitious crusade to rehabilitate culture, it will help a lot. We need to reconsider the aspect of national identity. We need that. And for that to be obtained, all stakeholders should come on board. There is no small stakeholder in it. I want to believe that there is a need at the highest possible level to reconsider the way we doing culture. We expressing our cultural values and things of the like. We need to have cultural associations, for example. Like you have sports association, if you cannot put together sports association and cultural association, specifically in Nauyota and things of the like, you can have cultural association supported by cultural centers where youth, specifically our youth, can put themselves in trial. Why? Because you have a lot of very skillful youth who, who seems not to understand that simply because there is no avenue for them, to showcase what they are interested with. Arts and culture should be promoted by all means. That's what I believe in. It should be a massive kind of commitment, not only from the government, but from our local authorities. They can do a lot because they are living with local communities. And basically, it's likely that local communities are custodian of our cultural values. So I think there is a need for each and everyone to consider it at its own real impact regarding development. I cannot believe that we can move without reconsidering the way we are considering culture itself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cham. Well noted. I think you've brought in a point. Our local authorities, we need to engage them to see how we can promote the cultural aspect, particularly involving our youth in this thing, because they are the future of the country. And I'm sure that Director General is hearing us, and I'm sure we can work together. And yesterday, just to recap, the minister said, this platform is very important. We can exchange ideas, continue the dialogue, and some of these things can be used, input into their planning and policy making. I think this is important. And after all this thing, we will prepare a report, which we will. I want to make she's a dancer, and we are happy that she could join us. She has her own group. Therefore, to welcome on board, and I just want to pose a question to you. I would want to ask you, currently the impact of this COVID-19 on you as a professional dancer, and also the industry, and what would really help you and the industry in this kind of situation? I'm putting two questions together because we are running out of time very soon. But once again, welcome. Daifatu, please.
Thank
Daifatu?
you very much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Greetings to everyone on the platform. Yes, as a dancer, the COVID-19 has really impacted, restricted our movements and also our show, to be safe. But then again, we have tried to adopt new ways, that is going virtual, which is definitely a big challenge. Data, how expensive it is for Gambians. I mean, for Flex Fusion Dance Academy to conduct virtual classes, because we've made up our mind that we're going to create free content online, so long as our students get the lessons and are learning at home. But then the challenge is most of them can't afford the data because it's really expensive. And they make dance videos to learn at home, but it's really big right now, because everything we do is centered around the gigs we have, the productions that we are hired to perform, and it's all on a standstill right now.
Okay. So what, just a quick one, what, in this kind of situation you are, do you think you can adapt your activities to the situation? What are you doing? Because in every disadvantage, there's an advantage. Are you taking advantage of being semi-confined and also the virtual space we are having? Thank you. Neifatu, please.
Yes, like I said, we are trying to adapt to new situation that is turning the negative into positivity. That's why we're trying to go virtual, because right now everyone all around the world is taking their work virtually, to make it move and to make things happen. But like I said, some of us here can't afford the data. So as for us, we are creating content, we are teaching our students, we're trying to reach out to them. But then again, it's vice versa. They need to be able to receive what we are sending them in order for them to keep learning and equipping themselves as artists and dancers. So it's a bit of a challenge, but we are turning it into a positive thing. And right now, we've also started uploading content on our YouTube channel, which we feel can also help us. But the problem is having to monetize our YouTube channel is also a problem, because you have to hit a certain number of subscribers, a certain views, and also register from a certain country to be able to monetize your YouTube channel. So that's also a bit of a challenge, but we're also working on it, because this confinement is also giving us the time to equip ourselves and learn more on how to best monetize our craft online as well. But when it comes to our customers and our students in the Gambia here, our dancers that are under our dance company, it's a bit of a challenge, but we're trying as best as possible, because what we do, we've gone to the extent of even sending them internet data so that they can learn. They can use their phones and use the internet to get tutorials from us to keep them going.
Thank you very much. Mr. Giorgio, as a cultural desk officer, please, can you add your voice to the question that have been posed?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Moderator. I just want to add my voice to the previous speakers' voices to say that as far as the recovery is concerned, we expect that stakeholders should totally gain recovery after the COVID-19. We expect also that they should come out with skills adaptation. Actually, this is what we expect from them. Writers who are writing physical books to try to come up with ebooks. You know, it may be expensive, but I think that way also they will still ply their craft. You know, and I want to play the devil's advocate here before I end. That is, culture actually should be mainstream in our educational system. The University of Gambia is not turning out graduates in the culture sector. And this is something that is needed. And I believe that if they are coming out from that end, they will come out with better skill set, you know, to apply their trade very well. So this is what I wanted to contribute to that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you just emphasized what Mr. Chan was talking about, and the same thing applies to the having a course at the University of the Gambia. And I'm sure our colleagues here at the National Center for Arts are taking note and will share it accordingly, and we'll see how we move forward with that. Then a quick one, is Gisela with us still? I wanted to pose a question to him. Giselle, what kind of long-term impact do you expect this COVID-19 to have on your livelihood? And that would apply quickly apply to Rohi, STS, and also Mr. Babasila and Fatu answered. Fatu answered that. Are you with us? I think he's not connected. Rohi, do you want to answer quickly?
Yeah, hello.
Was it Rohi? Oh, okay, briefly.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, you're with us?
Hello, go ahead, Rohi.
Hello?
Yes, we are getting you. Yes, we are getting you, Rohi. Go ahead.
We are getting you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. What was the question again? Sorry.
Question is, what kind of long-term impact do you expect this COVID-19 to have on your livelihood? You've talked about a bit, but the long-term impact.
Hello?
Yes, Rohi, do you get it?
1 minute.
Okay, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, hello?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Did you get it?
Hello?
Yes, please, Rohi, go ahead. Long-term impact of COVID-19 on your livelihood.
Okay, I think if this continue, it will actually destroy a lot for me because apart from me earning, like me being on set, me being a director, I depend on this. This is how I pay my rent. This is how I survive. This is how I take care of my mom's medical bill. This is like my work is my life. So if this continue, it will actually destroy my life. I can say that. So I'm just praying and hoping that it will end soon, because if it goes maybe till like next year, then I will have a big problem, because it can actually go to an extent that I will not even have a place to stay, or like for me to continue paying my bills.
Thank you
So
very
it will actually
much.
affect me a lot, destroy my life.
Okay. Thank you, Rohi. Well noted. I'm sure we'll all work together as a team in this industry. Mr. Babasilla, please. I would want you to just give me your concluding remarks and also touch a bit on the long-term impact this would have on your livelihood. Thank you, sir.
Alarm, you are unmuted by host. Alarm audio.
Okay, to close this, I would want to say that perhaps to help the bookmakers, the booksellers, for example, who are paying the education levy, they're also paying the corporate tax, and they're paying for their trade license. And they feel aggrieved that they're being taxed out of existence. A similar thing is happening to the few people who are involved in the production of books. Now they say that they don't have the basic solvency they need to print and publish books over and over again. Now, that is something that we need to bear in mind. But I want us to draw lessons from two countries. One of them is Norway. In the face of adversity, Norway was very poor. But up until the 60s, life was difficult because it's a cold country and people need to be creative. You know what they did? They sent 600,000 women into the job market. And that changed, after a few years, after just a couple of years, the lives of and livelihoods of all Norwegians. Perhaps we will begin to learn lessons from there. Secondly, when their prime minister became treacherous and joined the Nazis, I'm saying this because it's a lesson that we must draw from. The word Quisling was the name of the prime minister. And Quisling now in English has become an English word, which means treachery. Now, what happened after that? They sat down and they said, how are we going to fix this? All of things seems to have gone to the wash. So they started with, like Babakar Chamsi had mentioned, the self-identity. Who are we? Who am I? What do I want? What do we want? Where are we going from here? That's how they started. And look at them today, the richest country per capita than anywhere in this world. They have access to all kinds of resources. Their population have access to all sorts of provisions in their social welfare schemes. I have benefited from that. But moving on from there, I also want to cite another example. Iceland, which is about 300,000 island state, is the country that has the biggest readers in the world. They were the country that had produced a football team with a father and son in it. They are the country where 1 in 10 people write books and publish them. I'm saying, for me, the future of Gambia, I want to see Gambians writing books, but I also want to see that these books are read. And if people are not literate, then these books will not be read. I mean, I feel so guilty myself because I've written all these books, and what would my grandmother say about it? Baba, what is this? My sister tells me, you know, when I look at your books, my forehead shifts to one side because she said it's all words. It doesn't mean anything to her. So I think that's a lesson that I have to learn. When we talk about culture, we're looking at what we do in our daily lives, in our lives. And that's the broad definition of it. Culture is supposed to bring us together in the face of adversity. And this is our time to look for change and real change for that. in our society. I think we tend to forgetting that we have a constituency outside of Gambia, which is bigger than any constituency in this country. Can we think about enfranchising them so that they can come back here and contribute significantly to our national development? I'm a member of one forum. Hasum will tell you there is easily 200 professionals, writers, lecturers, researchers, you name it, they're all there. Why can't we tap into those resources? If we bring them in here, they can help turn this country around. So let us consider that fact. Those of us who are struggling, like I hear people talk about their livelihoods being destroyed. If only we can create that network where we can, where we can link up with all these other people, perhaps they might be able to point us in the direction in which things can be alleviated. So let us look at it together, because this pandemic seems like we're in it for a long haul. So therefore, let us begin to look for solutions, local solutions, and not look for solutions outside of the country, and try as much as possible to become self-reliant and to become dependent, self-dependent. That is very, very, very important.
Thank you.
So these
very
are
much.
opportunities for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a very good concluding way to close this discussion on this time round, because I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for NCSA to make sure we can continue, because there's a lot we can discuss together. I just want to give briefly 2 seconds to make a concluding remark here as a youth before announcement, before we close formally by Director General. STS. Then I'll give the opportunity. First, Mr. Cham, please, concluding remarks. Mr. Cham, 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Well, I want to say that basically I think the impact of COVID-19 might translate into some actors being forced out of creativity. But I want to, to look at it from the other side, that usually adversity oftenly, results in nurturing a lot of inspiration, fertile inspiration for that matter, inspiration fertile to impactful creativity. I want to believe that, as you rightly said, we need to put ourselves together. This kind of forum are very important, because that's through forum that ideas come out. Thank you very much for all, and good luck for all.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you for this forum, and I think for me, this situation, I'm gonna use it as a learning curve to prepare myself for the future in case something like this happens again, so that I'll know how to survive it without it disturbing me. So yeah, thank you very much for this forum.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you say it again? We didn't hear you. Briefly, STS.
Yes, I said I will use this situation to prepare myself for the future in case something like this happen again, so that I'll know how to survive it. Because like I was watching a documentary about it when it started, and the last time something like this occurred was in 1918. And who knows, it might come in the future when I'm still alive. So as human, we're supposed to learn from things that happen and prepare ourselves for the future, so that in case when it happens, we will know exactly how to survive through it. So I think for me personally, I would learn how to survive it as an individual and also as a business owner in case it happens in the future.
Thank you very much. So we have to conclude now. Director General, you want to say something before I give to say Omar to give the concluding remarks?
Wow, the Santa Nyobrek, from Mr. Judge UNESCO, Mr. Sila, Rohi, Adila Santa, Jariba, Korabina Natorop, STS, Dila Santa Day, Mr. Cham, moom lu wax rek agriculture la waaye ñëpp di leen sant ak Miss Bakurin Jam. Waaw nu nga doxalee jotaay bi tey fa tey sax moo daxa dimba. Waaw amiin déglu nañ artistes yi wax nañ te yàlla xam na ne mboolem luñ fi wax loolu la yeneen artistes yi nekk ak sedduna bi yëpp. Waaw seen métit ak seen tawat loolu la. Waaw te di si yokka ne mboolem luñ fi wax dinañ ko maanaam segg suñ ko seggee ba pare def ko si këyit. Waaw suñ ko defee si këyit ba pare ñu dinañ ko yónnee gars yi UNESCO ñoom dinañ si jot waaye ñun itam suñ ministre dinañ si jot. Yeneen ni ñu fi wax moom faj bi moom si ministère bi rek la nekk. Waaw comme affaire yu génne xaalis ak yooyu te dinañ ko wax mu jog si taxaw si. Waaw ndax mboolem lu yeneen amee liggéeykat yi di am si affaire yi ndimbal ñun artistes itam ñu am si. Waaw te duñ am si ndimbal bi rek ba liggéeyaat si yeneen sax. Waaw comme wax naa ko fi comme affaire yi jàngale yeeg affaire yi am na ñoo ooyee fond kees su ko defee artiste bu am sa loo bëgg a liggéey nga dem si kees gi ut fa. Waaw soo di leen gërëm di leen sant dinaa bàyyi sa Omar du wax dara nag su may jërëjëf rek sa Omar ana gàtta ku nekk da nga jaar si turam ak si santam na ko jërëjëf. Waaw loolu rek lañ la wax loo. Wow,
thank you very much, Director General. It's good you say it in a local language. It's all about culture here. And also for our other listeners and viewers who are watching it, this is very important. That's why we always have you on the driving seat. Now we will invite Sir Omar to do the closing remark. I want to thank you all once again. Chairman, Director of Performing Arts. Please.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bakurin. Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Bakurin. And thank you to all of you, the panelists. I would like to say, first of all, thank you to the UNESCO officials, starting from the Director General, Dimitri Sanga, who approved this provision to make sure it happens. When we proposed it, it was very clear that he said it can happen. And we have to thank Guillaume, who actually introduced this to us, Guillaume Alonso, and of course, Khadija too, who has been tirelessly working with us both day and night on WhatsApp, email, everywhere. She has been calling, and that was a marvelous move. And if it wasn't her facilitation, this would not have happened because she gave us courage. And we want to say a big, big thank you to you and to the entire staff of UNESCO, especially to Matilda in Paris as well, and all the other staff members and teams from both UNESCO Dakar, Breda, and UNESCO Paris. We are saying a big thank you to all of you for giving us the chance to do the first ResiliArt debate. And of course, I would like to say thank you to our panelists. It has not been easy, especially with this digital age. Some of you are BBC, who are actually not very conversant to the digital age, but thank God we had to really fight to make sure that we are able to put you through. So we were able to do that, and thank you. It wasn't easy. Some of you were almost getting vexed, but alhamdulillah, we have managed to make sure that everybody is being hooked up. And of course, I would like to say a final thank you to our technician. The technician also has been doing very well. I have been picking him from his house sometimes, at night and things like that. We've been working overtime, but it was great. We had done it and it's successful. But I would like to say on a final note that this is not the end, it's just the beginning. What UNESCO has initiated in here is actually in twofold, which is one, to do the ResiliArt debate and to form the movement. And now we are moving towards forming the movement, which is to make sure that we drive this thing home and it stays. This is not a one-time thing. We would definitely want to maintain it to make sure that at least by the end of every period, month or so, we will be able to get back to you to be able to have forums like this and we continue the discussion, especially during this pandemic. So on that note, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you, the moderator, all the panelist members. I don't want to call you by names, but I know all of you know that I have you in heart, and the NCAC is very thankful to all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Sir Omar, for those words. If Jaliba is around, he can just play a tune for us, and that's the closing. Thank you. God bless you all. And we appreciate all the support from everybody. We'll continue the discussion like Sir Omar shared. This is just the starting. Okay.
Thank you, moderator, for the good work.
Yeah. Yes. Before I give you a short tune, I'm sorry if I can have just a minute or so. I was unable to give this piece of advice yesterday.
Please go ahead.
Yes. Like, for example, what I am just trying to talk on behalf of all the artists, performing, fine arts, everybody on board. On behalf of them, Gambians should try to help us, love us, especially these companies. Buy Baba's books. Not only that, the film makers, we watch their films, love them. Recently, I have joined one film, and the majority of the actors were not even Gambians, but I rendered my service free to them. This was just a move to help so that we have something going on in the Gambia. We have our industry equipped. If you are not coming to our aid, it means you are taking a knife and they're slaughtering us on the throat. This would help us. We are doing a lot for them, like companies, example. They were doing our yearly routine for outside artists. They had calendar. Every year at a certain time, they will help an artist from outside. Why can't they help us the same way here? We have to get this going. Otherwise, we are all going to be dead. We know the impact we are all into. And from here, I'm saying if God help us, this thing is out completely. When we kick off now, it should be on a new trend. Yes, that was what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please close it with the music.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Jarila, anima gudan Dunia, 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 lumandi. Ketuma, botuma, bentuma, dunia, fele. Ndola tamunyo diwe sakona ado kono. Munati nentenyo la villa.
Yeah. Hola sa mbokk bi moom mooy tëj li mu ñëwee.
Kon tinjalalu may para fonjalalu may kora jalar baya binada jaru. Aninga nyona ne dunia bubuleti. Dan dunia da dunia lumandi. Alama Maria do embe kisi Gambia. Ketuma botuma bentuma dunia lumandi. Kunun tempi dambe bi kono mune binala sini. Dunia dunia fele muna muka jaga maladi. Why gora jalo dugo beya simbi jalo dugo. Balafon jalo dugo beya wait a mo jalo dugo.
Thank you very much, Jaliba. Thank you, everybody, for participating. God bless you.
Jaliba, well done, well done. We are happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mrs. Bakurin.
Thank you all. Thank you, Kadia, too. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
SK. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Jaju. Bye, Nefatu.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaliba. Mr. Babasila, thank you very much. Bye. Thank you, Mr. Cham.
Thank you very much, Ndeye. Thank you. Thank you to Hasum and Sheikh Omar and the entire crew.
Thank you, everybody.
How was it full of that? It was nice. Off the field, huh?